I'd like to call to order the RTA Board of Trustees meeting for Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. Roll call, please.
Mayor Kumar,
Here.
Ms. Elder,
Here.
Mayor Gallo, Mr. Love,
Here.
Reverend Lucas, Ms. McPherson,
Here.
Ms. Pachetti,
Here.
Mr. Sleesman,
Here.
Mayor Weiss.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Item number 3, certification regarding notice of meeting.
Mr. President, I advise that notice of this meeting has been posted more than 24 hours in advance, and all usual notification has been given to the media and other interested persons. All requirements of the Ohio Revised Code and rules and bylaws of this board regarding notice of meeting have been complied with.
Thank you very much. Next, item 4, we have approval of the September 23rd minutes for the board meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Sleesman.
Is there a second?
Second, Elder.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have public comment on agenda and non-agenda items. Do we have anyone in the audience that has a public comment today? Please, sir.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Hinkle.
Morning.
I'm a longtime resident of Cleveland, longtime resident. I want to bring another item about the GPS systems on some of your coaches. Some of the GPS is way too loud, and a lot of them come to call us, and I think it's very disturbing. Number 2, you should. The other item is about the request stop signal. A lot of stop signals is not working half the time. The commuters have to shout off the stops to the bus drivers, and the bus drivers get a little annoyed. When the stop request is not working, the bus driver should let the commuters know that it's out of order before the coach reach their stop. This is what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in person? Yes, ma'am. Is there a way to, we have a microphone to move over there, please?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Karen. Before I start, I want to just say kindness. I thank each one of you for your service. I appreciate you. Even the work you do behind the scenes and up front. Okay, calling them out. Ms. Delgado, Ms. Shaw, Ms. Davis, Ms. Ida, Dr. Caber. These are people that represent RTA excellent. And this is what a company should be about. And this is what I look forward to in companies. Don't just be a company. Be about the people outside of the company, too. You work together, speak to each other. As my parents say, you weren't born in a barn. When you come in the door, speak to people. Open your mouth. Kindness. You don't know where they're coming from and what they had to come through to get here, if they had a door to come out of. One day you could be in that shoe. With today's climate, you never know. Each one of us could be 5 seconds away from being on the other shoe, homeless or anything. Next, I want to say, I thank all my drivers. When I call in, the first thing I say, who am I speaking to? Because they always announce themselves. I know each one of them, all of them. I say thank you for your service. I appreciate you. When I get on paratransit, first thing I say, when they come to my door, I see their uniform, I know I'm in good hands. I say thank you. I appreciate you. That's the way I was raised. Also, I come from a military family. We have 12 Marines, my son included. We have 1 Army. They don't count him. They have to, though. And we have 2 Navy. You speak to people. There's nothing wrong with that. Kindness goes a long ways. I just thank you for the service. I love riding paratransit. If no one rides, Karen's going to ride. I don't care what the fare is. When you come to my door, take me where I want to go safely and bring me back. How great can it be? Okay?
Thank you so much for your comments.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience? Please, if you want to go up to the podium. Name and city of residence, please.
Thank you all. Adam Rossi, Cleveland Heights. And yeah, I just want to echo what this woman was saying to thank you all. RTA provides a tremendous service to me and to so many other members of this community. I mean, I recognize that it is a job that no matter the condition of the roads, no matter the day, 7 days a week, it's nearly 24 hours a day. It's drivers, it's people that come to where I work at Harbor Freight and get tools for maintenance. It's you all, it's people administratively behind the scenes. And it takes a lot of people working a lot of hours, working really hard to make this thing run. And I just am really appreciative of all the work that you all do. I'm also appreciative of your vision of a Cleveland area that is more connected by public transit and that you are envisioning an even better next 50 years of RTA. Specifically, I am excited about the bus rapid transit improvements on West 25th Street through Ohio City. I know that there are folks that are representing businesses that have been vocal in opposition to those bus lanes through West 25th. And as someone who rides the 51 almost every day, I work at Harbor Freight in Parma Heights. So I take the 9 downtown and I transfer to the 51 and take that to Harbor Freight. And as someone who sees the number of school kids riding that bus, it's really, really high, especially in the morning and the afternoon. To see people working all walks of life that go to the hospital. I see people working at Jack Frost Donuts in Parma. I see people working at McDonald's in Parma Heights that rely on that bus. And we would benefit greatly from improved transit service and a bus lane through West 25th Street. I happen to be off work today, so I was able to come in and make this comment, and I'm really excited that I was able to do this. But I know there are many, many people that are riding that bus right now that would support increased service that aren't able to come in and make this comment. So know that I think I represent a lot more people than just myself when I say thank you for holding steadfast to seeing those improvements through on West 25th, including through the Market District there in Ohio City. And I'm really excited about building a better transit system in Cleveland. You all are great, and I think we can be even better in the next 50 years. I will say that I have an executive report I brought in. I would love to give it to somebody from a study in New York City about what actually makes bus rapid transit quicker and results in faster service. And the results of that study, they said that bus lanes are part of it, but it's not all of it. Another really key component is off-board fare collection. And they also really highlighted the importance of all-door boarding and how that can really speed up bus service. It's not just bus lanes. So I'm excited to see West 25th be just the first of many comprehensive BRT services that include not just bus lanes, but these other components that make a BRT really cost-effective, increase ridership, and increase speed of service. But overall, thank you. I appreciate you and excited about transit in the next 50 years in Cleveland.
Thanks for taking time on your day off to come in. And Dr. Cavers to your left there, if you want to give him the report, that would be great.
I will. Thank you.
Sure. Anyone else in person? Do we have any callers?
Yes, we have one caller. Caller 0387, go ahead.
This is Eric Stewart. So if you do happen to take the time out and do the correct thing and put in the suggestion number 15A route, I want to add this shelter, which would be a good place to put a shelter between the blocks of East 153rd and East 154th and Barlett on the north side of the street, closer to 153rd than 154th, but on that side of the street. The following things have not been responded to by me. by you, that I posed to you years ago, and I came back to him 3 times about it. Your treasurer was talking about the municipal bond that was issued for the well-being RTA, and I asked if he would come to a Ward 1 council meeting and express the details of that to the people in the meeting. At the Board of Trustees meeting, I posed that. I came back to him 3 times by phone. He never responded to any of the messages. James Rubin, I asked James Rubin at a Board of Trustees meeting, could you express how many people you spoke with when you said that you got 75% increase of approval from ridership for the Rapid? And not only how many people did you speak to any people twice, either you or whoever posed the survey? Never got responded to. I asked why Community Advisory Committee does not have phone access to their meeting. Never got any response to that. They used to have that. And prior to that question, I asked, why did Johnny Bruner, who was higher up in the Community Advisory Committee at the time, never get any of the emails that were sent to Jose Feliciano Jr., and there was no response to that. I asked, why is the Board of Trustees meetings not allow phone access past somebody's public comments? Got no response to that. I asked, what is the cost for the phone access to the Board of Trustees meeting? I got no response to that. I asked, why are you claiming that the number 50 is faster to 93rd than the previous 48A when it's not? I got no response to that. I was suggested to me from Charles Lucas to put together a petition for people that will ride the 48A in place of the 50, and I asked him a number that will be acceptable. I got no response to that. I asked, was there a petition to put the 50 in the first place? I got no response to that. I asked Latoya Minor, Flance Cabers, and Joel Freilich, explain to me in detail who were the people in the Lisaville businesses that you spoke with that suggested that they even wanted the number 50. I got no response to that. In addition to that, Nick Bigger was putting out percentages without saying what the numbers were that the percentages were based on. I asked in the Board of Trustees meeting, could you give the numbers that these percentages are based on? I got no response to that. This is just constantly reoccurring, not just from me, but from other people as well. But they dropped off. They become apathetic, which really appears to be what you want the public to be, apathetic, so that they don't respond to you, so that they don't ask you questions, so that they don't suggest that some of the things that you've done are questionable. Just go on with your day as though this is a private company when it is actually a taxpayer-funded agency for the well-being of the public. This is concerning. I asked, hey, maybe we should consider reducing Indian Terry's salary by $100,000 so you could pay for more bus, shelter, train cleaners.
Mr. Stewart, thank you so much for your comments today. Your time is up. Do we have any other callers
There are no
online?
other callers.
Thank you. Do we have any comments on the web?
Yes, there are 4 comments. Eric Stewart submitted a comment that was similar to his comments on the phone just now. The next one is from Daniel Kirchner, a resident of Cleveland. He writes, I am an Ohio City resident and homeowner, and I am strongly in favor of the proposed West 25th BRT project, including dedicated bus lanes through the West 25th business corridor. I only see positives: increased transit accessibility and use, increased pedestrian traffic, little to no impact on parking, better streetscaping and pedestrian bike safety and accessibility. Again, I'm an Ohio City resident and homeowner, and I very strongly support the full scope of this project and the benefits it will bring to my neighborhood and city. Thank you. The next comment is Laquetta Worley. The comment is, I want to know, how is it going with rapid repairs and how soon will it be for the upgrade of rail cars? I'm really looking forward to it. Who did RTA get to help sponsor this funding, since I've always heard we need additional funds? It's also really interesting to see and hear on both sides of the spectrum. I hope this process isn't caught up with the government shutdown. The final comment is from Micah Ellie, resident of Medina, and the comment is, we should extend the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad to downtown Cleveland at Bedrock's riverfront development. GCRTA should be the project sponsor. This would better connect Akron to Cleveland with passenger rail. NOACA did a feasibility study for extending the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad north to downtown Cleveland. GCRTA should become the project sponsor for this project. This would be good for the Cleveland region.
Great. Thank you. Any comments on the first arrival of the first rail car?
Just for the record, we are still on task and on schedule with the rail car replacement program. We are currently enjoying seeing the cars being built out in California. The team took a trip a few months back to be able to look at that kind of car shell being built. And those first cars supposed to be here in late summer of 2026. And then from then on, we'll go through the process of tweaking that first car and then continue with the replacement program for the next couple of years.
Thank you. Okay, now that we're done with public comment, do you have public comment by chance? Okay, just making sure. Came in late, great. Under committee reports, Board Governance Committee, as I mentioned at our retreat, we're going to try and start holding those on a quarterly basis. So look forward to some calendar invites for those committee members. Relative to operational and planning, Mr. Sleesman, any updates? Ms. Pichetti, under organizational services and performance, any updates?
No, thank you.
Mayor Weiss, you're not going to disappoint me, are you? For audit and safety?
For audit or for compensation? Which
Oh, you can roll both
Compensation,
into one. I'll let you do both.
Okay.
How's that?
compensation, we have a meeting this afternoon, or after this meeting, to really lead into the year-end review process and compensation. And on audit, we continue to work through what we hope are final changes to the internal audit charter, and the goal is to get those finalized before the end of the year. Tony, did you have something you wanted to add?
Thank you, Mayor Weiss. Just to say that the next internal audit meeting with the committee is November the 12th at 9 o'clock.
Great, thank you. That's it.
The whole board order, I think those are vacant right now. Ms. McPherson, anything under the CAC? Great. Under ad hoc committee reports, I don't believe we have anything. You've covered the compensation and nothing under the COC at this point. Under ad hoc nominating, Mr. Love.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Kumar. I was advised to share that we've received one letter of interest for the position of Vice President from Trustee Pichetti. Trustee Pichetti, would you like to speak to this opportunity?
Thank you very much. As I said in the letter, I'll share it publicly. I was not expecting to take on a board leadership position, but I really think this is a great opportunity to build on Trustee Kumar and Trustee Welch's leadership and continue working on our communication, both as a board and also with the leadership of the agency. I think we had some great momentum going in our recent retreat. And I really look forward to just continuing to really focus on keeping us as board members knowledgeable and aware of, big trends, long-term and short-term, that might affect the health of the agency. So I'm looking forward to hopefully becoming vice president, working with you, Mayor Kumar, and I think I can do it until March, which is I think I could do it. So I put my name in, and I'm just really excited. I've been on the board since early 2024, and I was just appointed to a 3-year term. So all these major changes that are happening with RTA right now that really can benefit the public in the long term, I'd love to be a part of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Pichetti. And since we only received one nomination, I'm going to recommend that a voice vote will suffice. So at this point in time, I'm going to ask for a motion to nominate Trustee Pichetti as Vice President. Do I have a motion?
Motion by Gallo. Second, Elder.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any other items under the ad hoc committee? Stephen? Anything? No other business at this time. Awesome. Okay, great. At this point, we will move on to introduction of new employees and announcements of promotions. Ida Marshall, always a pleasure.
Good morning. Thank you, Board President Kumar, General Manager, CEO India Birdsong Terry, and the entire board. Let's see here. It is my pleasure to honor and recognize the new hires that are joining the RTA family, those that are stepping into new roles with promotions, and third quarter retirees whose legacies will continue to inspire us all. We'll get started, as always, with our bus operators. We have Jacqueline Thomas, Donovan Beeler, DeJohns Damon, Anthony Green, India Green, Brian Hanna, Jordan Davis, Ryan Bluford, and Anthony Benford. Continuing on is Wesley Moten, Michelle Soto, Stephance Robinson, Carlos Copeland, Joseph Sam Bonacci. I think it was one of our memorable moments hiring this gentleman at an event that we had on East 79th Street. He's a pleasure. And I've heard that he speaks 7 languages. Brandon Freeman, Neville Jones, Tanisha Robinson, and Kelly Sowell. Rounding things out with our bus operators is Shiante Crockett and Tamaya Bivens Waddell. We also have Arnetta St. Clair, who is a paratransit operator, Nicola Angelino, Transit Police, Deonta Walker, Body Mechanic, and Riley Ania, Equipment Servicer. For our October promotions, those that are moving ahead, Thomas Cover, the new Cloud System Administrator, Joseph Jordan, Equipment Maintainer. Also joining the Equipment Maintainer crew is Jaden Watanapan. Nicholas Veras joining as Equipment Maintainer, as well as Richard Poswick, Equipment Maintainer. And so those are all of our new hires and promotions. We're going to give those a round of applause. Thank you. And we're moving to announcing the third quarter GCRTA retirees. I just want to let you all know that this is over 350 years combined service with everyone. We have 12 to announce. And if you're present, which I know you are, Leslie, just can stand, and then we'll have you to take a picture with the board and then to come up and make some announcements. This is Leslie Smith with 29.7 years as Senior ITS Specialist at Main Office. Thank you, Leslie, but I'm going to have you come on over here with me and have you take some pictures. Joining Leslie, I also want to announce Eggert Creighton, bus operator, John Paul Yursky, maintenance technician, Judith Johnson, janitor, Albert C. Mayer, heating, air conditioning mechanic, Joseph Prushka, equipment maintainer, Xavier Strong, equipment maintainer, David William Dorsey, signal maintainer, Keith Lockett, signet maintainer, and Darlene E. Morgan, hostler. Charles Voss, labor non-safety sensitive, Melinda D'Angelo, Director of Procurement. I saw yesterday she was at lunch still looking lovely and having a great time being retired. And Leslie M. Smith, Senior ITS Specialist. If we may allow her to speak a few words, we'll have you speak some few words and then take your photo.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. It's my honor to be here. And in case you can't see it, I am wearing my badge of honor. Thank you so much. Just the people who spoke before me, who came up, now I have to change my speech. I don't see my director, ex-director Charles. He's in the back. Oh, okay. Okay. He's coming out. Okay. So prior to listening to everyone speak, I told Charles and everyone that, working in IT is a thankless job, but that's only because people don't know all the efforts that it takes to keep everything up and running. But just listening to everyone speak and the kind words about GCRTA, it's more than IT. It's everyone And, we put in the work, we do the job, we do the best we can. And it's been my honor to experience that for as long as I can. And I'm just totally appreciative and honored to be here. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh,
thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You did good. You look beautiful. Thank you.
All right, Brett, we're going to jump down for that just to tie it all together with Resolution 2025-104.
Expressing congratulations to the employees of the Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority who retired during the third quarter of 2025.
Great, you've heard that resolution. Is there a motion and a second?
So move, McPherson.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes. We'll jump back up to 2025-102.
Authorizing contract number 2025-095 with Richard L. Bowen and Associates, Inc. for Project 31G, Architect Engineer Services for Blue Line Stations reconstruction in an amount not to exceed $1,239,711.92. RTA Development Funds, Engineering and Project Development Department budget.
Great, thank you for that. Is there a motion and a second for that resolution as well?
So moved, Sleesman.
Second, McPherson.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes as well. And then finally, 2025-103.
Approving amendments to Community Advisory Committee operating guidelines.
Great. Is there a motion and a second on that as well?
So move, McPherson. Second, Elder.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes as well. We'll jump down now to the Secretary Treasurer's report. Always a pleasure, Raj.
President Kumar, members of the board, good morning once again. My name is Raj Gautam. I am the Deputy General Manager of Finance and the Board Secretary Treasurer, here to review the October report. Pretty standard report in the overall scheme of things. We start off by reviewing the economic conditions. The FOMC decreased the interest rates to 4.25%, which was a 0.25% decrease at the September 16th, 17th meeting. The next meeting is scheduled for October 28th and 29th, when we'll have some indication of what the next phase of the interest rate looks like. The September CPI index update was scheduled to be released originally on October 15th. That has been moved to October 24th, partially because of the federal shutdown. We'll provide that information when that becomes available. Annual inflation rate, as we all recall, back in June 2022, went up as high as 9.1%. It went down to a low of 2.3% in April 2025. In August 2025, it stands at 2.9%. This information was previously provided at an earlier meeting, and once again, because of the shutdown, I think the information is a little slow coming in. Start reviewing the consumer confidence, which is the survey of consumers conducted by the University of Michigan. The consumer sentiment decreased 0.2% from September, following a 5% decrease in August. Long-term inflation expectations are being held steady at 3.7%. We can see the month-to-month changes in the consumer sentiment. 0.2% decrease in consumer sentiment. Year-over-year change has been a negative 22%. Current economic conditions, 1% increase. Year-over-year, a 6% decline. And the index of consumer expectations, month-to-month decrease is 1%. Year-to-year, 30.9%. Ridership through September 2025, when we compare the ridership data to the pre-COVID levels of 2019, that represents a 5.7 million ride decline, roughly 23.7%. In September 25 year-to-date, ridership was 0.5% lower than 2024 levels. September passenger fare revenue was 12.8% when compared to September 2024. It is 2.8% above the budgeted amount. Comparison to the pre-COVID number of 28.7 million, we are 6.1 million lower, roughly 21.2%. Sales tax for October was 10.5% higher than October 2024 receipts. Once again, a reminder that there is a 3-month lag in the revenue. The revenue based on the economic activity in July of 2025 is what we actually receive in October. Year-to-date, we're 4.2% higher than when compared to 2024. 15 out of the 21 categories were positive in October. Online sales were 10.45% higher. Motor vehicles and watercraft, 3.4%. Regular and statewide sales, 1.82% higher. Selected data, just as a summary, this is included in your monthly package. Total long-term debt as of the end of 2024 was at $22.3 million. Quick reminder that we only make principal payments on our debt in December. Next principal payment is due in early December 2025. The average investment yield on a year-to-date basis stands at 4.08%. Total cash and investments of $356.1 million, of which $326.4 is in restricted funds. The unrestricted or the general fund cash and investments amount to $29.7 million, which exceeds that 1-month operating ratio that we talk about. Quick 2025 budget update. As you may remember, we had budgeted a transfer of $50.5 million transfer from the Revenue Stabilization Fund to support the operations. To date, we have transferred $25 million. The current balance in that Revenue Stabilization Fund is $100.8 million. We do expect to transfer the remaining $25.5 million by year end. And just a reminder on the 2025 budget, our revenues stood at $273.3 million. The expenses that we had budgeted was $323.8. So essentially, we are drawing down from a savings account to support the current expenses. Quick update on the 2026 budget process. The team is engaged in putting together a budget. A reminder that we will be presenting that at the November and then again at the December board meetings, committee meetings rather. We will hold 2 public hearings, and we will then seek board approval at the December board meeting. Also at the November board meeting, we will be requesting an amendment to the 2025 budget for an increase in appropriations. This is largely due to an increase in healthcare costs, which have increased roughly 30% from 2024 levels. We are projecting to need an additional $5 million to cover the increased costs through the end of the year. With that, I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you to the chair. Raj, would you go back to the ridership? Just curious your thoughts. The 3 years track in terms of, as a ratio, track very closely over the last 3 years as a percentage increase. I'm wondering, is there Is there an explanation that, or you would venture to guess as to why that is, or whether it's, I was thinking, is it structural, meaning because people are now, some amount of people are now working from home as opposed to coming into the office, that's just a reflection of the existing workplace, not necessarily a reflection on
I don't think there's any correlation that we can see. And Florence, I don't know if you have any thoughts that you may want to express. I mean, yes, there has been a movement of returning to the office also. I mean, initially there was a big thing about working from home. Then there has been a push in return back to the office from different companies, et cetera. RTA not being any different. I think we have reviewed our policy also and made some changes accordingly. Florence, did you have any additional thoughts that you wanted to express?
Good morning, Chair Kumar, members of the board, members of the public. I'm Florence Kaler, the Chief Operating Officer here at the Greater Cleveland RTA. And so I think as we are recovering, our recovery has sort of two aspects that are important. The first aspect is what was, prior to COVID, the central business district being downtown. And so the central business district still has about 80% of its pre-COVID activity in the downtown area. So we actually are privy to some data that Downtown Cleveland Alliance captures, which looks at the return to downtown. And so our downtown still has not recovered to the pre-COVID levels. You can see so in the general activity in the downtown central business district. However, we are able to, and we have rebounded more than some other major cities because of the ridership type that we have, which is we have a large group of people who are going to work that are not in a central business district. And so our weekend recovery has been very strong. Our after rush hour recoveries have been strong, but there are not enough days to offset the central business district's weight on the system. And so we are tracking as a correlation, not that it's the total cause, but as a correlation to the numbers of recovery in the central business district downtown.
Okay, thank you. Just curious.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could piggyback just for a moment, I heard the question a little differently. I'm not sure the pattern as far as how the year by year is also, in addition to what's been said. If you look at 2019, 2024, and 25, the fluctuation in the up and down,
seasonality,
correct, is reflected of schools. Activities, it's reflective of holiday activities, it's reflective of seasonality, as you mentioned, with weather pattern as well. If you think about the major things that we experience every year, whether it's holidays and folks coming out of school at the same time, and also activities that like St. Patty's Day Parade and Pride Parade, those kind of things are the mainstay every year on the same calendar. And so when you look at traditional ridership throughout the industry, throughout the country, typically, we have higher ridership days that are usually the same in every company throughout the region. So your Saturdays may have a traditional ridership, as Florence mentioned, due to different activities going on downtown. You have an ebb and flow to the 9 to 5 as well, which is definitely impacted by COVID and that kind of thing. But when you see those ups and downs, typically those are reflective of the movement of the city and items that are just happening every year. So respective of if we are in the million ridership range or the 3 million ridership range, you're going to see that same up and down fluctuation based on just the trends of regular life. I hope that explained it as well.
Yes, it certainly does on a month by month basis. But the fact that it also applies to 2019, to me, it suggests there's more of a structural change based on change in work habits. It's just, just unusually correlated.
I have a question. Trustee Elder. Raj, thank you. You mentioned that we are anticipating the increased expenses in light of healthcare costs.
Correct.
And I think you said $5 million or something. Does that also tie in to the October 15th memo that we received regarding a hiring freeze to account for expenses and revenue? Is healthcare the main driver for that?
Well, health, all expenses, right? I mean, we're dealing with tariffs in some cases, general inflation in some cases, salary increases in some. So everything is there, and we keep on watching the expenses. And as we are going through the budget process, obviously, the first order of business, of course, says, hey, let's not at least add to that item instead of cutting costs and stuff. So we're reviewing all of that information. The easiest things, obviously, is not to increase costs. We are very, very selectively going to be looking at positions, and I think India wanted to touch upon that during her comments shortly.
Okay. Thanks.
It's my first slide.
Ms. Pachetti? Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on the ridership for 1 second.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure that I'm understanding this as well, because I've been trying to track it year to year. I believe, based on the data we've seen over the past couple years, that 2019 is the pre-COVID kind of benchmark. We've been seeing increases every year since 2020 until this year. I believe this is the first year that we are kind of on par with the prior year. And so I want to state that because I think it's something that we need to continue to monitor. I do think that we are kind of on par with other systems nationally. This is not just a greater Cleveland issue. And I also want to hold it up there as a North Star that there are some systems that are recovering back to pre-COVID levels. So I think there's still some aspiration that we might continue to keep up the momentum and the great work and get our ridership back up there. But the reality is that most systems are not seeing the levels that we did pre-COVID, and I think that's just a reality we need to recognize. So I guess there's 2 points in there. One is let's keep up the great work and really hold the aspiration of continuing to increase ridership. And then the second is acknowledge that I do think this year is the first year that we've seen stagnation. So I'm kind of checking that with you guys, and maybe this is an offline deeper dive, but I wanted to state those 2 observations because I think they're very important.
And thank you for the comments. And I think that is one of the several items that we continue to monitor, and we'll continue reporting on that.
Any other questions from trustees? Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, good morning again. India Birdsong Terry, General Manager, CEO. I will start with the first slide. It's a little bit of a combination here, so you'll see it say the town hall. The reason that it says that is because this was our point of reference for the couple items that I'll go into, piggybacking off of where Raj left off about the financial update on where we are. On October 15th, and I wanted to move this to the beginning of the slide, so everything after this will pretty much go in chronological order since the last time that we met here. But on October 15th, we had our semi-annual staff meeting. We call it a town hall, but it really is an all-hands staff meeting. We have it virtual and in person. It happens this time in this room where we probably have about 75 or so folks, maybe hedging on 90 in this room, and then we have people dialing in from the districts and upstairs and different locations, wherever they may be, to be able to go through almost like a 6-month in review process where I let them know about things that we let you know in case they didn't have opportunity to catch the board meeting, and also updates on projects. We have what are called fireside chats, where we typically pick 3 to 4 major projects. So BRT, for example, was one of them, to be able to have the project owners really come and talk about the status of these major projects. Railcar has been on the docket before as well. Customer experience is another one, so on and so forth. And we also really wanted to advise folks of how we're getting out into the community. So the ones that we had in addition to what I just mentioned were also AdCom, which is our new branding partner. So those are the kind of fireside chats that we've got. Part of the town hall is a Q&A for me, and it is whatever Q&A comes from the audience. And also it's about 30 minutes or so on the front end and then another 30 on the back end where I'm able to give updates that might be water cooler conversation. And if you know where I'm going with that, there are a lot of different communications that happen in a 2,400 person company, and we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page as much as we can. So some of the key focus areas of presentation that I wanted to share with you today were under legislative updates. You will see government shutdown bolded in my slide this morning because that is what translated into the legislative update. I wanted to make sure that folks understood. We provided that information to you as the board as a courtesy a few weeks back. I believe we're in day 21 of the government shutdown as of this morning. That is in part because federal government was unable to pass an appropriation bill by October 1 of this year. The good news coming out of that particular bad news is that FTA, the Federal Transit Administration, who we cite all the time, who is a major funder of a lot of our capital projects, is deemed essential through the shutdown. So what does that mean? That means that it is safety related in nature. So an example of that might be national security, life and protection. Public transportation is under that umbrella of the FTA because we do receive a lot of our funding that support things like the rail project, for example. We are considered also essential by nature, and therefore we continue with operations without significant impact when it comes to our budget stabilization of where we are now. So there are no service cuts that we're falling into right now. We do not have furloughs for employees. We have not laid anyone off as a result of the government shutdown at this moment. So I wanted to make sure that we let our internal team know that first. We also let the board know that, and externally that our riders understand and our customers understand that we're in a stable place right now. We continue to monitor. Things change from day to day. We understand that, hour by hour, sometimes minute by minute. There are additional residual impacts when it comes with different contracts that we have going on, whether a tariff is in place and whether there's issues that are going on within the federal government itself. If we have different contractors that change as a result of that, we're continuing to pivot and making sure that we're flexible. But I wanted to make sure that, again, folks understand that we are somewhat protected when it comes to the FTA umbrella as far as an essential services. So we have not been adversely impacted at this moment when it comes to the financing. And all projects are continuing as planned at this moment. Any questions on that before I move forward into the other item? Okay, so the other item is the financial update, which translates into the hiring freeze. So great question, Anastasia, Trustee Anastasia. We had a conversation about this. It was really, truly a conversation. This is as a result of us trying to be proactive. So you mentioned, or you heard Raj talking about making sure that we can have cost containment measures. We want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to start to contain some of the costs that we can control. So when it comes to how many people we hire, what our pay is, how many hours are put into overtime, that kind of thing. Those are the areas, how much we travel. Those are the areas that we want to make sure that we can contain as much as possible so that we're being good financial stewards of our money. There are a lot of transportation companies across the country, if you look on any news channel, that are always talking about particularly larger urban cities because we tend to have larger, more frequent networks, and that costs money as well. So we want to make sure that we are not jumping into the frying pan, so to speak, and we're being a little bit proactive early on so that we don't get into the transit death spiral, as you hear. It's not the best term, but you hear that a lot. The fiscal cliff, you'll hear that as well. There are very dire terms that we tend to talk about when it comes in transportation because we understand how important our services are. It's life and limb for a lot of folks, right? Whether you're talking about paratransit or where you're talking about folks that are on big bus or the train, we want to make sure that we're there. So we're starting to be able to take small measures. They add up. We understand that they add up. We've had this on our traction scorecard for quite a while. For the better part of a year or two, we're always maintaining it, but we want to make sure that we're aggressive. And I know some people cringe when I have the word aggressive, but that's what I mean. We got to make sure that we pull back. Part of that is the hiring freeze. The way that I explained it, and that is effective immediately, the way that I explained it in the town hall is that we've got to worry about the folks that we have currently employed. We can't worry about the folks that we haven't hired yet. So from that point of view, we need to make sure that we're starting to contain it. There are a small subset of positions that are a small grouping of positions that are currently in motion, right? That are either posted in offer status, being recruited and reviewed. There is a small group of leadership, including myself, that review all of those to make sure that we know what to do and pivot. But any new positions will not be added unless there is some extenuating circumstance that is approved by me. So this is an effective, immediate hiring freeze, again, to protect the employees that we have, to make sure that we're being good stewards of the money. We'll continue to come back to you, as well as the internal staff, of course, with different changes that we will have, again, to be able to start to contain those dollars so that we don't exceed the cost and get into a cost overrun on the administrative side and the operational side. We are continuing to hire operators and mechanics. Want to make sure that I put that out there as well, because our service has not changed. Are there any questions on that? Okay. All right. Okay, great. And of course, feel free to ask if something pops in your head, no problem. Okay, so moving ahead with just the last month in review. I always like to let you know where I am when I am representing RTA on any board activity that's pretty significant. So if you have heard of the Cleveland Leadership Center, CLC, I do sit on the board representing RTA for that. Having gone through some of their programs myself as a newbie to Cleveland, when I was a newbie, I can't claim that anymore, I guess, after 6 years. But a lot of our employees here have also gone through some of their programs. There's a myriad of kind of professional development and networking that happens. So the board is a mixed bag, and you can kind of see that through the photo there of leaders in different disciplines. We met on the campus of Davie Tree to be able to strategize and discuss regional cohesion. And this is really the developmental process, and how do you get leadership together on the same page? We have a lot going on within not just transportation, but within the region, and how do you start to develop those new and new-ish and not so new leaders, and that was part of that conversation. It's great to have RTA at the table. Also, the 2025 NOACA annual meeting. This particular annual meeting was one that we attended, as well as several of you from the board. We appreciate that. A feature of that NOACA meeting is Northeast Ohio Maritime Transportation System. So we had a lot of conversations. There were a lot of conversations about waterway, connectivity, infrastructure, and investment. You can see Chris Ronayne, the county executive who facilitated a lot of those conversations, is pictured there, and we appreciate NOACA. They are an investor in a lot of our projects, so we want to make sure that we support them and also make sure that RTA has a seat at the table. Well, good timing. We had a couple of public comments on the Metro Health Line, or the West 25th BRT. You may hear it talked about as that as well. This was us making sure that you knew we had open houses. And we talked about this, I think, at our last meeting. It was in the middle of coming up. Community open house. We've had quite a few of these to be able to talk through the project. I think it was mentioned by one of our public commenters. Thank you for that, sir. We appreciate you on your day off. To be able to talk about how important this project is to the community, and understanding that everybody's not always on the same page when it comes to parking and that availability. We understand that. We want to make sure that we support the business community, but we also want to make sure that we increase mobility and reliability for our customers. There are bikers, there are pedestrians, there are drivers. There's a lot of traffic happening, and it's a very condensed, tight corridor. So we want to make sure that we reach out to the community and put forward the best project that we can. Again, we've had over $500,000 in safety enhancements added to that program to make sure that we are not missing anything. So we continue to work with our business community. We'll meet with them again later on in the month to be able to talk through the final touches so we can move forward with the project. Again, we appreciate the support from the community. We understand that this is not always the easiest of negotiations when you come into trying to figure out how to get across that street, but we want to make sure it's safer and really more reliable for our customers, especially those that are in ambulances, for example, that need to get through that corridor. So we'll continue to give you updates on that one as we move through the process. Any questions on that one?
Yeah, just curious if any comments stood out in particular at that meeting?
At this particular meeting?
Yeah.
So I will actually, I know that we have a list. But I'll say, at this particular meeting, I don't know that one stood out over another. I'll definitely defer to Mike if he's got any particular comments. But I will say we've got a myriad of questions about the safety enhancements, how the navigation of the street will happen when it comes to bikes and pedestrians. Also, if they're signaling, included, whether there's transit signaling priority, transit signal priority included in there, which it is. Also, how many parking spaces will actually be reduced, right? So we're usually looking at about 70, I think is what the number is we're negotiating from, anywhere from 55 to 70. Also understanding that this is not intended to be a super lane highway. That's
Right.
something that comes up quite a bit as well.
Mhm.
We are looking for more reliability to make sure that we don't get stuck in a bottleneck. And that's really the main crux of this. Any BRT project worth the salt will be able to continue with that stance. Mike, if you had any particular comments from the last community meeting,
Yeah,
and then
sure.
Natoya as well. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Trustee Elder. Overall, it was a very positive reception to what we have proposed. The vast majority of the comments, I think, reflected a positive response to some of the traffic calming things we've added, to the station design, to how we've addressed the combination bus bike. I think that's one thing that gets lost, is that the bus lane is also going to be a bike lane. So yeah, overall it was very good. I know we had a couple other board members there, so they may be able to weigh in on their thoughts if they wish. But overall, where we are for the people that came, it was overwhelmingly in support of what we're proposing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Natoya, I don't know if you had any additional. Okay, good. All right. Okay. Anybody else on the? All right. So we're going to continue on. Actually, Tariq, I'm going to ask you to join me for a moment. Wanted to make sure that we also kept you abreast to some of the more international work that's going on. So young man that's coming up to the podium here, probably embarrassing him a little bit, is Mr. Tariq Muhammad. He is currently a business operations administrator too at Power and Way. Has been through a lot of our program to be able to kind of circulate through operations in a lot of different capacities over the last couple of years, and really is a shining star. We appreciate him. He's taken on a lot of work, whether it be internally or externally, and this is really evidence of that. He has been named as a global ambassador for the 2025-2026 cohort. We are super excited for Tariq. He will not only be representing RTA on the local, but the international scale as well. So it really invites emerging leaders in Northeast Ohio to talk about policy, talk about things that are impacting our society on more than just a local scale. There is a group, so he's not the only one, but we expect him to fully enjoy the program and being able to bring back a lot of these policy discussions back to RTA so that we can stay abreast of what's going on in our community and also the nation at large. So Tariq, if you had anything to say, now's your shot.
All right. Good morning, Mayor Kumar, members of the board. Thank you all for having me, and I appreciate the recognition. Thank you, GM, CO Birdsong, and also GCRTA for the outlets of letting people know that I'm a part of the Global Ambassadors Program. With this program, I am learning how to become a more globally minded leader, where I get to improve my global competency to positively and effectively engage with people from all across the globe. As India mentioned, I get to travel to Helsinki, Finland, and Dublin, Ireland, where we get to engage with their local city officials and learn about how those global opportunities and challenges impact our region here. And so across the sectors of business, education, policy, and socially, those are just some of the few things that we'll get to engage with them and bring back here. And so also members of the board, I do want to extend an invite as far as connecting with our executive director to next in the spring, we will actually be preparing for 8 weeks to prepare for our trip, where your expertise is welcome to help us prepare for the trip. And so thank you all for having me this morning.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, you can clearly see why Tariq is in the program. So we appreciate him for that, and also the kind words and extending that invitation. Congratulations, Tariq. All right, so moving on to some of the fiscal asks that we have out there in the public. You've seen this before. Transportation Review Advisory Committee, also known as TRAC. This is a regional presentation. We always want to let you know when we're asking for money because a lot of those dollars will support our capital projects. So you'll see in the photo, Mike Shipper, our DGM for Engineering and Project Management, is at the podium there. And then way on the right-hand side, the second person seated is actually Mayor Georgine Wheelo. If you recognize her, she is not only a mayor locally here for South Euclid, but she also is a former board member of RTA. So it seems that we produce superstars, whether it's the mayor of Cleveland or whether it's a TRAC member. We are returning out positive leadership, of course, in yourselves as well, to make sure that we are getting into those sectors of the financial world that matter and those that make those decisions as well. I mention it because it's always nice to have someone on the board who understands what we are asking for. Whether or not we get it is a different answer, but to understand what we're asking for is part of the battle. The education piece, when we go up to the dais and ask and request for money for RTA, is usually sometimes an uphill battle, but it ends in a good balance of understanding the urban plight and also the rural. There are usually folks that are asking for the same funding that are sometimes for highways, that are sometimes for farming. So when you come with public transit, usually there's a little bit of a learning curve that's included in that to explain what we need those funding sources for, what those dollars are going toward, and how it can be spread regionally. So it's really great to be able to have that conversation. We requested $16.7 million in TRAC funding to advance the next phase of light rail. So you'll hear about all of these kind of preparedness programs to be able to start to embrace some of these new rail cars and also make it just a safer, overall smoother ride. This is part of that ask. We also highlighted the OTP2 and the TRAC leveraged investments, so things that we're already working on, whether it's the rail car and the Warrensville, Van Aken, and Shaker as well, and then TOD, transit-oriented development-driven projects that also support our transportation network. So a great presentation. It was nice to be able to see familiar faces, and stay tuned for the update on the developments on that. Oh, yes.
Thank you for that update. Is there a timeline on the TRAC decision process?
Yes. Mike, we talked about that, if you want to shed light on the timeline.
Yeah, actually, they move. It's still pretty lengthy. The final decision will be made in March, but we will have a pretty good preliminary indication of where we are probably in January. They still have one more set of these regional presentations that'll take place tomorrow. So they meet monthly, but by January we should have a pretty good idea if we're in the funding mix.
All right. Okay, and then also on the policy side, we did have a few members of our external affairs team that traveled to Columbus, Ohio. If you're familiar with ALICE, that is an asset limited, income constrained, and employed summit. It's a policy summit to be able to talk about how we actually get together in the business community and also outside of the business community to be able to support those that may be economically in need of additional support. How do we support working families? How do we support those folks that are taking our service every day? It's great to be part of this larger coalition. It is hosted through United Way. I do sit on the board of United Way for RTA. This is an extension of that service to be able, again, to make sure that RTA is part of those conversations. I appreciate the staffers that went out and took the hour-and-a-half ride, both one way and the other, to be able to sit on this kind of policy summit to think about how we can play our part. A good example of this would be the 211. If you've ever called 211 or known someone who's called 211 to get assistance, whether it's with a heating bill, whether it's transportation trying to get to a medical appointment, there's a myriad of things that, and resources that are out there that a lot of people just don't know exist. So making sure that we're on that docket as a resource as well is important, and that's a really good example of how we can start to tie into the community so that we're just not buses and trains. We're actually, bless you, serving as a resource for those who may need help at any given time. All right, we talked to you about customer experience. We say this a lot, but we wanted to show you a little bit. And so we have some fun photos, and we also have a little bit of a video, I believe, after this as well, to be able to show you our first customer experience day. This is not the first nationwide. I want to say it's the 11th when it comes to APTA, the American Public Transportation Association, but it is a customer experience day nationwide. RTA embraced this phenomenon, and in this year, we are super excited to say we had the boots on the ground. So the street team, as we're calling it, really reached out, started with Public Square, and just kind of went around the system to be able to let folks know that we see you, we hear you, and we want to get your feedback on how we're doing. We understand that may not always be rosy in nature, but we want to know how we're doing so we're moving forward in the right direction to improve the system. I believe, Nick, there were 80 volunteers that went out with your team of 4 to be able to have support in this effort. Did you have any comments on this one before we roll to the video?
Just quickly, yeah, great opportunity for us to participate in this program. We worked very closely with Dr. Walker-Miner's team. So we had a coordinated marketing campaign. We actually interviewed customers, interviewed members of our Employee Riders Council. That was rolling on social media all day. And then the boots on the ground thing, it was just a lot of positive energy. So really a joyous occasion, connecting with customers, appreciating them for riding. So great opportunity for the RTA.
Thanks, Nick. We appreciate you guys as well. I want to say they were part of our fireside chat, and I had a lot of people that told me they seemed like the happiest department on earth. Everyone seemed to be super excited. I think they were in the mode of just a really high energy. And we also had Janet Burney, who was a facilitator and moderator for that session. So it was really nice to be able to see legal being able to talk about being the happiest department that we have. So it was a great combination. We're also taking a concerted effort to, and I want to mention this, now when I look at Janet, I see Nurse Janet. I don't know if you knew that. She was also a nurse before her judgeship and in legal career. But we are taking a concerted effort to have wellness be a part of the way that we have our retreats. Even our DGM for operations over here allowed his folks to be able to focus on wellness instead of reporting for a day, and really being able to kind of go through how it is to really be a concerted effort for one team, to have a unit, a unitary sort of mindset. We do that every day, but we do it in the tactical side. So being able to think about how you balance that is really important. All right, so let's get to the good stuff. This is my last slide, I promise. It will actually be a report, so hopefully we can get the sound going. I'm going to click in a second. This is an interview that we had, an interview for customer experience with Spectrum News. So if you watch Spectrum when you go home, maybe you saw this, maybe you didn't, but we wanted to make sure that we showed this to you and shared it with you. It's great to be able to get out there and also have the media kind of catch on to what we're doing.
Taking steps to improve their customers' experience. And it's more than just employees reading surveys. They're hopping onto the bus and taking a trip for themselves.
Hey, good morning. How you doing? Going to Gemba is a concept that we've been leaning into here at the RTA.
Nicholas Bigger is the Senior Director of RTA's new Customer Experience Department.
Gemba is a Japanese phrase. If you're going to try to make any improvements to a process, you have to go to the real place. You have to see it for yourself.
Since the department's creation in June, Bigger and his team will schedule site visits, take notes, talk with customers, and create
an action list of items that we have to improve upon to improve the customer experience.
RTA employees, many of which use the service, are encouraged to submit feedback to the department.
Thank you.
And our customers will tell us if they're not happy or excited. They'll let us know either way.
CEO and General Manager of RTA, India Birdsong Terry, says focusing on customer experience factors in the nuances of a rider's journey.
What kind of environment that you're walking into? How do people greet you? Are they friendly? If you have a question, is someone there to answer it?
How are you today?
And those using the service seem happy to share their experience.
I, for one, I'm a people person.
Iman Pig has been riding the RTA for 7 years. She says she's seen improvements in the service and likes the idea of RTA employees speaking directly to the customers.
If you open up dialogue, people are willing to talk.
I just wish that there was a way for the app to work better and so that we could actually track our trains and our buses and know exactly when they're going to come.
Daily writer Gabe Carpenter wishes for more real-time data on bus and train arrivals. Bigger says that's not the first time RTA has gotten that feedback.
We understand that. We're trying to get better at it.
RTA has installed roughly 10 transit TVs at various locations that provide real-time arrival data, and they're looking to install more.
We want to make sure that everyone is aware of what you think as the customer, and we're not doing the job in a bubble.
In 2024, RTA carried roughly 25 million passengers, growing from the past 2 years. And Terry says the goal is to continue to grow ridership, in part by listening.
The whole reason we're here is to serve the customer. Yes, we move people from A to B, but we have to do it in a way where people actually enjoy their trip.
Corey O'Leary, Spectrum News.
So that concludes my report, unless there are any additional questions.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I just have one.
Yes. Madam Vice President, yes.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a comment, and that was a great video. My comment is on the previous presentation. Oh gosh, now I'm losing my train of thought. The connection between, I'm so sorry, the connection between the Alice convening in Columbus and then the Case Western Reserve study. I just know that both those organizations, United Way statewide and then Case and the work you're doing here in Greater Cleveland, I think that they carry large networks and both would be interested in each other's work and how, as we roll out the study from Case, how we do it in a way that is extraordinarily, I think, sensitive to this population in particular. And I just want to be sure we're sharing best practices.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Sorry about that pause.
No problem.
You're making me nervous. Thank you.
No problem at all. Yeah, we definitely are moving forward to be able to do that, and I'll make sure to follow up. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Next, President's Report. The only thing I have under there is I think in your packet you saw a proposed 2026 board and committee meeting schedule. Just want to know if anybody had any feedback. If not, we're going to go ahead and finalize that so you can get that on your calendar so you know when we're going to meet next year. Hearing none, we'll finalize that and get that out. Great. Any old business? Any new business? Okay, the next regular board meeting is scheduled for November 18th in the boardroom here at the Root McBride Building on 1240 West 6th Street, and that's live streamed as always. Is there a motion to adjourn and a second?
So moved. Pachetti.
Second, Love.
All in favor?